Hello, 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 hey,
Good day, loves.
hey, hi, howdy.
Welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast.
I got a haircut yesterday.
Yeah. Um, glad everyone got to see your hair yesterday. It was really nice. And
Got my hair done 2 days ago. Got a haircut yesterday.
what we are Ufulu Child.
Yep, I'm
And
Coach Soul.
I'm Coach Tensi. We follow a 5-pronged healing system that we came up with. It's like 5 simple things we can do every day to get us in alignment with our own definitions of holistic freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
So today's Wednesday, and we are covering the third prong of the healing system, fueling ourselves up on what we consume in daily life, having that be nourishing to our bodies, our minds, our spirits. And what is the topic for today?
Yeah, so today, sometimes we get really deep into the nitty gritty details. We spend a lot of time telling you the secrets behind the secrets that are behind the secrets. But today we're getting way back to basics. We're going back to the fundamentals. We're learning layup drills. We're practicing them 100 times till we get that layup perfect, right? So back to basics, unlocking nutrients hidden in whole foods. We're going to talk a little bit about shopping around the perimeter of the store and not just in the aisles. We're going to talk about how nutrients are found everywhere except for in the aisles of your grocery store, unless they have a bulk aisle, of course, and they have the whole foods in the bulk aisle. But other than that, we're going to talk a little bit about nutrient dense versus calorie dense, all of that stuff. So, how to get nutrients from whole foods? Hi, baby. Can you go back to sleep for 10 minutes?
Rhetorical questions, Yeah, so this is important stuff, you guys.
Yeah.
Be sure to share this out with a friend and just comment down below, like the video, so we can really start to pop, 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 a little nudge to the algorithm to be like, hey, algorithm, this is important.
Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow the page, share this out, notify yourself next time we go live.
Boom shakalaka.
So, what is the power of nutrient dense foods? Right? Nutrient dense means even if it's not calorie dense, even if it's not, a very filling feeling that you feel from eating just a little bit of it. Nutrient dense means that it's packed with the energy bringing substance that your body asks for. Okay.
Yeah.
When you do a juice fast, the reason why people can do crazy long juice fasts, and I mean weeks, on just juice and water, and sometimes tea for depending on who they are, is because the juices that they make and the whole foods that make the juices are nutrient dense foods. And so the body is still able to get all of the energy that it would need to go to work, to play with the kids, to work out, to do whatever they're doing in the day, even though they're not eating any food whatsoever, and even though they're not feeling full throughout the whole day for long periods of time. And that's because your body doesn't get energy only from burning calories. Your body also gets energy from the restorative power of vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, I mean, it's super simple, right? Everything that is truthful is simple. Everything that is truth always is rooted in some simple principle that we can always fall back on or come to. And here is the principle here. Like when it comes to bringing health, when you've set up an environment for health in your body or around you, even that will translate into health being manifest in your life, right?
Yeah.
So the foods that we eat, if they are set up to bring health, so they don't have any ingredients that, like on a previous episode we talked about excitotoxins. They don't have any of those additives or sweeteners that cause our brain cells to literally die.
Hmm.
This is then, I mean, if that's not present, then what's left, hopefully, is something that was already nutrient dense. And the more nutrient dense something is, the more health you can potentially find in it.
Yeah.
Now,
So
there's levels to this because there's synthetic
right,
minerals
right, right,
and there's stuff that you get from the earth. What do
right.
you think about the ubiquity of nutrient dense foods, or like where you can find them?
So ubiquity means you can find them everywhere. That's what ubiquitous. If something is ubiquitous, it's everywhere, right? God is ubiquitous because the whole universe is made of it. Nutrient dense foods are whole foods: your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, your nuts, your seeds, your legumes, all of that, fermented foods. Eating those will bring your body nutrients. And of course, eating your colors, right? Eating a variety of those brings your body nutrients. And so, um, getting these nutrients without necessarily having to go to the supplements, or let's say at least having to go to a lot of the supplements and the powders and things that promise to give you these nutrients, like, specifically these nutrients and those nutrients, is more accessible than a lot of people realize. Okay. It's abundant in the produce section. You go to the produce section, you look around, especially when it comes to the organics and things that aren't heavily doused, and the soil that they grow in isn't heavily doused with forever chemicals and whatnot. In the produce section, there's just nutrients all around. You got your vitamins, you got your minerals, you have your herbs. And when we go to the grocery store, oftentimes we prioritize things that are prepackaged in a way that makes it very easy and very quick to make a meal out of. And whole foods are not as easy and quick to make meals out of, especially for the inexperienced or somebody who just grew up on bologna sandwiches like I did. I grew up on bologna sandwiches, turkey bologna, but bologna sandwiches nonetheless. And it's just very important to learn how to shop in a way that leads to you learning how to prepare whole foods in a way that you can thrive in a nutrient dense environment, meaning create a nutrient dense environment in your body and thrive on that. So let's talk about like some swaps that people can do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the soil that a lot of the fruits and veggies are grown in, even in the organic section of the grocery store, is pretty depleted. Like there's all these um, really small, to the point of like, if you've ever heard of like a nano-sized thing, it's like smaller than the eye can see.
Mhm.
It's just extremely small. Chemicals and plastics and things that are in our tap water and that are in our air, and all the chemicals and heavy metals that, unless the 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 water is purified by the somehow the plant's taking that in, so it's a little bit more challenging to find a very uncontaminated plant out there, like a piece of produce. But you always do better when you go to the farmer's market or a community garden, or you plant your own.
Mm-hmm.
You grow your own food, even if it's in little pots on a balcony in your apartment.
Right, and don't give your own plants tap water. Right,
Yeah.
filter the water for your own plants.
Yeah, a little $30 pitcher from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You can have it on your countertop or in your fridge. Or I would say countertop because most likely it's plastic. We don't want plastic in the water. And just have it so that you can also nourish your plants. But yeah, so avoiding processed foods. Um, when we talk about this, we have to think about, like, okay, what did it take for the food to go through all these changes to become now in a jar, a bag, or a box? That's generally all those things are in bars, jags, and boxes. All the things that are in jars and bags and boxes are typically what we call processed foods.
Right.
And there's, of course, levels to those too, because you can have a processed food sparingly, but it just depends on which one are you reaching for. Are
Right.
you reaching for the granola that has coconut sugar in it instead of table sugar, where just there's sugar, or like a artificial sweetener in it that is really damaging to the brain and the body, or
Or
are
are you
you
getting the
reaching for?
granola that's full of the pumpkin seeds and the whole grains and the not sweetened with just table sugar? Sweetened with like coconut sugar.
So
What are you reaching for?
that's like the first example. Versus, are you getting like Oreos, or are you getting the Cheez-Its? These are all different processed things, but one is cleaner than the other, right? And the more that you can get away from the harmful additives and chemicals, the more that it's going to be healing to your body.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? I think it makes sense. But like, I think the main thing that people think in the back of their minds is like, oh, it's just a little bit. It's not really gonna do anything. It's just a little bit in this. But there's a little bit in everything. There's a little bit of heavy metals in the deodorant, and there's a little bit of chemicals in the water and in the soap that we use to wash our hands. And there's a little bit in everything. So a little bit adds up to a lot every day. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, I mean, that's really the message. I mean, if it's back to basics, we're not getting into the nitty gritty detail. I can hold on.
You just gonna pull on my shirt? Get off my shirt. Yeah. She is hilarious. Also, we have to keep in mind that processed foods, overly processed foods, right? When we say processed food, we don't mean, as Coach Tensi was just explaining, absolutely everything that you find in the store that has gone through a process. But specifically, the foods that are so heavily processed that they're essentially nutrient lacking or full of synthetic, not real nutrients, as well as things like table salt, table sugar, bad fats, and the like. And so we have to be honest with ourselves about the long-term effects of overly processed foods, as the harmful additives to the food, as well as the lack of nutrients that you get from eating the food, have long-term negative effects on your body's ability to be able to function, on your brain's ability to be able to aid function, and everything in between. So one of the strategies that we talk about in mostly all of our previous fuel episodes is reading labels. Reading labels, looking out for things that you have no idea what it is. Sometimes you can't even pronounce. Things that have tricky words like citric acid, which for a long time had me fooled, and I thought it was citrus acid, but They're two completely different things, and citric acid is not something you want to consume over and over and over and over again. Looking at the labels on your seasonings, seeing if it's actually herbs and spices or if it's herbs, spices, and a whole bunch of additives.
Well,
Knowing,
and there's the secret labeling too, to where if it just says spices, that's another way that they hide a lot of excitotoxins.
yep, so they hide words inside of words. They hide chemicals and processes inside of different words. Flavor is one of the most common uses of a word on a label that means, up to hundreds of different things. It could be natural flavor or organic natural flavor, artificial flavor. These things that say flavor, it's a combination, it's a formula of a whole bunch of things, some chemical, some biological, and some synthetic things that are in the food. And they say it's trace amounts. It's trace amount means one thing to one person, one scientist, and another thing to another scientist. It's just not healthy for your body to be taking in, especially not over and over and over and over again. So learning how to read the label, knowing the difference between when a label lists sugar versus um, coconut sugar, or it's like some sort of like a whole food that you can recognize. Sugar by itself means usually the bleached table sugar, which is not good for you. And things like that, right? When it reads salt instead of a specific kind of salt, like Celtic salt, Himalayan sea salt, sea salt. Those things that you see in nature versus salt by itself usually means the bleached table salt, which is not good for you.
Similar thing with broth.
Similar thing with broth, exactly. So when we're honest with ourselves about those things, then when we take a look at the label, we can kind of move forward with confidence that we are going to avoid those foods and instead fill our plates and fill our cups with things that are nutrient dense. So the first tip that we have for you is to shop around try and limit your shopping as much as you can to around the perimeter of the store. So around the perimeter, you're going to find your Whole Foods, like your produce section. You're going to find your meats and things. Although, of course, as we've stated a bunch of times in a bunch of previous episodes, you really want to find somebody who's taking care of their own animals and buy directly from them, or buy like one step out from them, somebody who maybe packs it for them, but know the process that those carcasses are going through, if you will. And that will help you a lot, because we don't know just from being in the store what company is doing what with, whether it's putting steroids in the animals so that they grow faster for more profit, or the type of conditions that the animals were living in, whether they were scared and traumatized their whole life or not. All of these things matter for what you're going to put inside your body and call sustenance, right? So shopping around the perimeter of the store is one thing. Also, taking the time to not only just like listen to podcasts like this, but to read about and learn about at least a couple times, a month, the truth about the food industry. So the kind of dark history and dark present of the food industry here in America or wherever you are in the world. And that will help you navigate, without having to come to a podcast like this, how you're going to feed yourself and your children and your grandchildren. Okay. And yeah, some simple tips to kind of get back to basics. Getting your nutrients from whole foods.
The only thing I would add is like watch out for the bad oils.
Oh yeah, Coach Tensi said to watch out for the bad oil. Are you coming back?
Yeah,
Okay.
the goal is good. Good day, loves. Quick reminder, watch out for the bad oils. Okay. So this is when it's wherever you are, because they're at the farmer's market, they're everywhere, because the doctors are not educated and they tend not to have the time to know deep nutrition. As soon as I come back, Omi's like, Daddy. It's cute. But the inflammatory oils, or the bad oils, they cause your cells to literally feel like they're on fire. So the cells will have a whole response of swelling up in the outside of them, and feeling like you're in pain. If there's enough of this inflammation, it'll often manifest as pain in the body.
Yeah.
And so these oils directly have been linked to like the number one cause of cellular inflammation. Okay, so yeah, we need to eliminate them at all costs. This is not a moderation type thing. This is like,
don't eat
stop it.
canola oil or vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Or things that are labeled with sunflower oil or safflower oil anymore.
Yeah, don't bring them home anymore.
Yeah.
So this is, in addition, corn oil, soybean oil, partially hydrogenized oil. Also with butter too, if it's not organic, and grass-fed, dairy,
pasture raised,
and pasture raised. So not farm. What is it?
Farm fresh?
No.
What?
It's not coming to me, but I know for you don't want farm grown fish.
Oh,
for
yeah.
example. You want wild caught instead, and even so, you have to make sure it's non-GMO, because everything nowadays is genetically modified. And
yeah, they clone the salmon,
everything.
And the cloned salmon
have
are
been
bigger.
Eating the wild ones.
Yeah, they are bigger than wild salmon, and they're eating the wild salmon.
Yeah. So the thing that
places.
Even people that would eat fish, they'd be like, "Oh, this wild caught. I ate wild caught salmon," but now you're eating GMO wild caught salmon.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Anyway, it's not good for us. Not good for our bodies. But yes, the bad oils like that. Also, sunflower, safflower oil. Rapeseed oil, cottonseed oil. The list literally goes on and on. Okay. It's probably easier just to remember the good oils that are out there. And that's like unrefined coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil. For these, you got to keep it raw. So no cooking with these if you can help it. Now for the high heat oils, avocado oil is the jam. Avocado oil and sesame seed oil, also grapeseed oil is fine. So
yeah, grapeseed oil is the only seed oil on the planet that we approve of.
Yeah.
Every other seed oil
and sesame seed.
And sesame seed, right.
Mm-hmm. And if you can get them at their highest quality, the better the quality, the more raw it is, the better. Her. Well, are we wrapping up?
I don't know what you're doing.
Are we wrapping up the episode?
We're obviously wrapping up the episode.
Okay. Then to me, I'm like, it doesn't relate. Anyway, go ahead and wrap up the episode.
So, we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
We are parents, y'all. All right.
Hopefully this episode was useful and helpful to you guys out there. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the page, follow the page. Comment down below your experience with paying more attention to Whole Foods, reading labels, shopping on the perimeter of the store, maybe changing your diet, if that's a part of your story. And tomorrow, for Thursday, we have Move Day, MOVE, where we'll be talking about moving and taking action. Can't wait to see you guys there. Catch you same time, same place tomorrow. Peace.